I recognize the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Velazquez, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Brainard, as you know, earlier this summer, there was a cybersecurity breach at Capital One. At the time of the event, Capital One relied on Amazon Web Services for its cloud storage needs and has continued to rely on AWS even following the incident. In its 2018 annual report, the FSOC specifically highlights the growing reliance of financial institutions on third-party service providers like Amazon as creating risks to the financial system. Can you explain the risks that are created by banks increasing dependence on third-party services providers for their data storage needs?
Well, thank you for the question. So a lot of financial institutions, like large institutions that have tremendous needs for processing data across the economy, and including government entities, are looking at questions about how much of their infrastructure, how much of their core systems versus their software services should they hold in-house, on-premise, or move to cloud providers. So this is the beginning or the middle of a trend that I think will continue. What authorities we have as bank supervisors and examiners come to us through the Bank Service Company Act, which do provide the FIFI Act, the bank regulators, some ability under circumstances where providers are significant providers to examine some of the third-party providers. There's also a lot of work on this issue because of the concentration of some of the cloud provision in international fora. So this is also an area that we're looking at in the Financial Stability Board internationally, but it's certainly something that we're very focused on.
So is it fair to say that an event like the one that occurred at Capital One earlier this summer has the potential to pose a serious threat to the financial system?
So the particulars of that breach have to do with both the institution as well as its cloud migration. I think we do recognize that migrating to the cloud mitigates some risks, adds other risks, and so we need to hold our institutions accountable for making that risk assessment in a very well-informed way and taking that migration very seriously.
Thank you. Director Falasheri, the OFR's 2018 report identifies cybersecurity as a continuing concern. Can you explain how the potential impacts of cyber risks are compounded by banks' own operational practices?
Thank you for that question. We are, I would put the cloud question with cyber risk. What we're really worried about here are the interconnections. If we have a cyber attack on a particular organization, that organization has channels of transmission of that risk to other organizations. And our researchers are developing a network analysis that would help bring transparency to understand, okay, well, if this particular organization finds itself in difficulty from a cyber attack, who else is downstream, and to share that information with FSOC to take appropriate action.
Thank you. This question is for both of you. While crypto assets remain relatively small, they are growing fast in size, numbers, adoption, and applications. As you are both aware, earlier this year we held a hearing on Libra, which is the cryptocurrency being developed by Facebook and its association members. What risks to financial stability does the Libra cryptocurrency pose? Governor, let's start with you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the advent of Libra really sharpened the set of questions that regulators, officials need to think about in terms of stable coins, their potential adoption for payments. What does this mean in terms of You know, if you're a consumer, your social media platform having information on payments, will they keep your data private? Will they keep it secure? For regulators such as the Fed, the potential for this to be across many jurisdictions and the potential to have very incomplete regulatory authorities.
Yes or no answer, do you have the regulatory authority that you need to monitor this
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It was to you, the governor.
I now recognize